This here is a model showing you the parts of a nephron. It also shows you the blood vessels that lead to and from the nephron. The nephron does consist of two parts. This is the renal corpuscle, and then all these tubes are called the renal tubules. Together, that's the nephron. So let's start with the blood vessels that lead to the nephron. This is the interlobar artery. This is an arcuate artery. Right here are the interlobular arteries. And then from that, the afferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole leads into the glomerulus. And then coming out of the glomerulus is the efferent arteriole. The efferent arteriole continues around. It surrounds the tubules, so it's called the peritubular capillary network. As you can see, that drains into the interlobular vein, and then the arcuate veins, interlobar veins there. So back to the nephron itself. So the first part of the nephron is the renal corpuscle. Renal corpuscle consists of the renal capsule, or Bowman's capsule. Glomerular capsule is another name for it. That's shown here as yellow. And then the red is representing the glomerulus. So it's basically a capillary network. And then the space is the glomerular space. That's where the filtrate's going to accumulate. From the glomerulus, as I mentioned, you have, or coming into it's the afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole. That's the blood supply. Then you can see from the capsule, the first tube here is the proximal convoluted tubule. So the proximal convoluted tubule continues around. You can follow it. It goes underneath, continues around here until you get to the nephron loop, also called the loop of Henle. It has two parts, the descending limb and then the ascending limb. The descending limb has a larger thin segment. That's this tube with a tubule with a thinner diameter. The ascending limb has a thicker region here that's called the thick segment. That continues around and it leads to the distal convoluted tubule. So the distal convoluted tubule, if you follow its path, leads to the collecting duct. So the collecting duct receives filtrate, or tubular fluid I should say, from various nephrons, and then those converge, and then many papillary ducts will come from that.